Hi, I'm Dana Corey, Senior VP and GM here at Avocor. Avocor is a leader in creating interactive solutions that bring together people easily, fostering better communication, improving team engagement and productivity. Avocor displays are completely agnostic, making them adaptable to any UC software like Microsoft Teams, Zoom, and many others. In this next video, our team will show you the power of Zoom's companion board in combination with Avocor. Thanks for watching.
All right, so now what we kind of want to go through is the experience that you get with the Zoom Companion Whiteboard. Again, it's that side of room whiteboarding that happens away from a front of room interactive display. And this is really great. It's a replacement for the installed whiteboard in a conference room. It's a replacement for that like mobile flip chart that you've got or a mobile whiteboard within a room that's maybe on a cart. It provides a really great experience for like those boardroom scenarios where you've got a couple great big non-interactive displays up front and you want to be able to integrate easily a side of room interactive whiteboard for on-content annotation or ad hoc whiteboarding as it goes. So what we'll do is I'm going to join, I've got my Lenovo ThinkSmart Hub 500 joined here with a non-interactive Zoom room experience. And then I've got my Zoom Companion Whiteboard joined as that same Zoom user. So everything's Avocor Test Lab 1 when you look at both of these users. I'll join meeting room here. And we'll get this meeting started. I'm gonna mute and drop my volume. And then my colleague Rob, if you want to join my personal meeting room, Rob, yeah, go ahead and hop in there. And what you'll see is this companion whiteboard is kind of a standalone away from the meeting room experience. So think of this as your big front of room non-interactive panel. I can now see my remote participant, Rob, who's very excited to be here, which is great. And you see nothing changes on the side of room display. I have the ability to start a whiteboard session that will then take over the content sharing within my meeting experience. So now the same whiteboard features that I previously had on my front of room display with the ALZ, I've got on my front of room non-interactive panel driven by my side of room companion whiteboard. And Rob is able to see that as a far-in participant. He's able to hop in and annotate, and we can collaboratively whiteboard back and forth on this, again, the simulated side of room panel. So hey, hey Rob. All right, so then the other great thing that you can do is you can stop sharing.
Josh, you stop share.
Yeah, I'll stop sharing, and that returns my non-interactive room system back to seeing the far end video of Rob, but my companion whiteboard stays up live. So I've got companion whiteboard ready to go. And as Rob is now sharing in his content, so I can see his screen, he's sharing a presentation with me or maybe some photos. I've got this whiteboard session over here that I'm able to keep going and keep iterating on, and nothing changes over here, but I'm able to see his far end content up front. Now the big question, can I pull his content over to my interactive whiteboard, companion whiteboard, and be able to annotate on top of his slides? And the answer is yes. I've got a button right here that says switch to content. So I hit the switch to content button, and now I'm joined and I'm viewing Rob's screen sharing. And now I can see, now I can come in here, and this guy right here, this is Rob.
Imagine this is very, critical business detail about my trip to Disneyland last summer at the Millennium Falcon.
So here's Rob showing off his cool family. But I want to get back to my
so again,
whiteboard.
just to be clear, so I'm seeing that annotation on my end, right? So this is now, we're in a mode where I had shared this into the meeting. The Hub 500 was actually, the receiving end. In a normal Zoom room, they would be able to see that content there, but not annotate it. But because Josh pulled the content over to the whiteboard on the side of the room, now you've sort of bridged from normal large room where you can see but not interact, but pulled over to that side of room whiteboard. Now he's able to actually annotate on that. So was that, you know, if this was yesterday and these were the slides that we were reviewing before, we could be marking up those slides, saving, and again, the way annotation in Zoom works is once you've kind of written that up, you can save that view. That becomes, you know, okay, on that slide, make these changes, and that goes out as a JPEG, right? So this is, yeah, to the question from Thomas, all those that annotation that he's doing is showing up back on my screen, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So the great part about this is now I'm seeing Rob's content. I'm annotating over on top of it. It's reflected on both my non-interactive in-room system and also foreign participants. But I've got an option down here that says switch to whiteboard. So now I'm able to go back to my whiteboard session. It doesn't change my in-room experience. It doesn't change what Rob sees on the far end. But now I'm able to come into my whiteboard and continue iterating on this interactive whiteboard system. So I can add a second page, and I can be, I can say page 2, and I'm continuing my notes, and now I want to switch back to what Rob had. I can say switch to content. It's going to bounce back to what Rob has on his screen, including my rich content that I've got over top of his image that he's got up here, and I can keep talking about this, and we can keep annotating and collaborating, which is really great. Allows you that flexibility to bounce in and out of whiteboard, in and out of content annotation without losing your annotation layering that you've got.
So again, you imagine like how a side of room whiteboard or flip chart is meant to work. That can be persistent. You want what this really enhances, and like why we're so excited about this in terms of what this options this gives us for our customers for our displays, is that whiteboard isn't just persistent as conversation is happening, right? Or when it's time to pay attention to content, but for people like me on the far end, I can be seeing that whiteboard in, and the content that I'm sharing can be getting the markups back out. Really nice utility in these medium and large rooms where the mode of work, you can imagine, right? We've all had a workshop for 2 hours in a room like this, right? There's times when you all need to see each other. There's times when you need to look at something, and then there's times where you need to generate content and ideas, right? And so this really takes a room that might have been that would be optimized for seeing each other and seeing content, and really adds that ability to make, right? And iterate and ideate. So yeah, I think that's, Josh, did we have any other stupid pet tricks we wanted to put this thing through on this one?
The only thing we're going to show is now if I leave the meeting, I'm going to leave, that's going to cancel out my whiteboard session, cancel out of the content sharing that we had here, and takes me back to a whiteboard experience that's outside of a meeting. So the important part too to think about is this whiteboard. It's kind of the same as those, a traditional whiteboard or a dry erase board that you've got on maybe a side of room, of the side of the room of your conference room. You've got your installed conference room system here. And you and a colleague are walking down the hall and you're having a conversation, and here's an open conference room, and we want to go in and have a whiteboard session real quick outside of a meeting. You can certainly walk in, tap to start your whiteboard, and you can whiteboard there. My meeting room still stays off. It doesn't trigger that this room is in a meeting. It's still available, but it allows you to be able to walk in, have a whiteboard session, save that, send it to yourself real quick, and then close out. And nobody's the wiser that anything ever happened in this conference room. The next participant isn't inconvenienced by the room having been in use or anything like that. So you can just quickly bounce in and out of whiteboard, in and out of content annotation, which I think is a really great feature.